Is that working? Oh, here we go. It's going to be a day. Maddie, stop, please. No, don't. Don't be silly. Don't be a silly, please. Don't be silly. Don't know if I'm seeing all of chat, but we'll get there. I don't think anybody's here yet. We've got a bit of a different setup today. Moonbeam, there we go. Somebody's here. We've got something happening. Min, hi. Good audio. We've got good audio. Okay. Well, as long as you can see me and you can hear me, that's all we need. I'm a bit of a mess this morning. So, you know my backdrop for my videos, and I'm torn. I'm between this and this because I've got the chat over here. The way my flat is set up, I've got my desk and then a big space where I sit, and then I've got my backdrop, which is just a bookcase and the things I've got on top. And then behind that is a couple of steps that go up into the kitchen. And last night during my Patreon, I came back out of the kitchen from letting Maddie out. And you know that thing where you catch your foot on the corner of the step and you just kind of slide off the step? I did that. I do it a lot. It happens a lot. Big feet, small steps. It happens. And I put my hand out to steady myself on the bookcase. But for some reason, I must have caught the bookcase or been leaning on the bookcase or something. I don't know. Maybe my body hit the bookcase first. But the bookcase fell forward. So now everything that was in there is now toppled over all over my desk. So I can't get to my desk. And as I came down, I caught my wrist really hurts because I'm a lefty, so I put my left hand out first. I missed the corner of the desk. I missed the bookcase because it fell forward. So I scraped my arm all along the top of the bookcase. So I'm a bit of a mess there. It looks worse than it is. It doesn't hurt or anything. It's just really bruised. And then as I came down, because I missed, I caught my head on the corner of the bookcase here. It's the smallest thing. Look, it's not even half an inch long. And it's not a cut or anything. It's a gouge. But as with all things head, everything is swollen. I've got a black eye. I was red stuffing all over the place. As you do. Honestly, the hardest part was getting up off the floor afterwards, as usual. Because if you've got a bad wrist and a bad knee, it's really hard to get up. No matter how big or small you are, if you can't put your hands like that on the floor and push yourself up, how do you get up? It's really hard. Anyway, the big problem, of course, is that everything fell off my desk, off the bookcase, and it's all on the floor. So there's books and cubes and things, which should be fairly quick to tidy up. I just haven't had, because I'm slow-moving traffic this morning now, and I've got to be careful. I don't think I have a concussion. I've been fine, but it can take a little while for it to happen. So I'm going to be careful today. I don't want to be, moving around a lot or bending and stretching and picking things up off the floor and things, just in case. But some of the stuff on there was breakable, so now there's glass. Something broke on my chair. 2 glass things hit together on my chair, so there's glass all over my chair. So I've literally got to clean it all up and then hoover even my chair before I can do anything else. So for now, we're streaming from the sofa. I might do a short stream tomorrow and then spend the rest of tomorrow trying to clear some of that up. I'm sorry, I've got an itch and I can't get to it because everything hurts. Oh, there we go. That's better. So yeah, we've had a bit of a thing. It looks worse than it is. Honestly, I'm fine. My knee hurts because I landed on my knee again, and I always land on that knee. And my ankle felt a bit fragile last night, but it's all right this morning. So I must have just twisted it as I came down. But mostly my knee hurts. That's the big problem. But hey, it wasn't as bad as the time I did it 3 days after lockdown started during the plague, when I literally tore the ACL in my knee and then couldn't get anybody to do anything about it because you couldn't go anywhere. You couldn't do anything. You couldn't get an ambulance. You couldn't, literally just ice and heat packs on the sofa for 6 months. So that was fun. Did I do it elegantly? I didn't do it elegantly, but I didn't manage to catch it on camera either. So you can, in the stream, you can see where everything just kind of falls down. It looks like an earthquake happens. But you can't actually see me because I turned off the kitchen light as I came back. You can see like a shadow move, and that's it. So, no, I didn't do it elegantly, but no, I didn't do it on camera either. So I think that's a win. Hi, Susan. Hi, DC, Moonbeam, John, Spilled Ink. Hello. Hello. Anyway, I thought since I can't get to my desk or anything, fortunately, because I cleared off my side table there, I was able to grab my laptop by hooking it with my stick and pulling it across this way. So we do have most things working. We just don't have multiple cameras. So it's just me, I'm afraid. Celery. That's the way it works. At least we've got good lighting over here. The way I'm now tempted to move my desk over here so that I've got proper light. No, I don't have that kind of energy or space. But it's a thought. It is a thought. Maddie. Hey. What's the matter, Baba? What's the matter, Bubs? Do you want to come and sit with Mama? Do you want to come up and sit with Mama? Do you want to sit up with Mama? Do you want to sit up with Mama? Be on telly? Do you want to sit with Mama and be on telly? Come on then. Come on then. Let's move this out your way. Come and sit up with Mama then. Come on. Come and do Q&As with Mama. Come on. Come on, Maddie. Come on. I don't think she's going to come up, but, you know, you never know. Come on. Come on, Bobs. No? You don't want to? No, she says. I'm not playing your shenanigans. She's not playing our shenanigans. She's had enough. Right. Yeah, so I thought I'd do a Q&A this morning. I was very late doing the Q&A, but I did have a couple of questions already. So, let me see. Where's the... Hi, baby. Hi. Ask a question. No, that's where it is. There we go. Oh, now where did the question go? How do you view questions on Instagram? Hold, please. Ask me a question. Oh, slide it up. Is that how we do it? There it is. Slide it up. It's always slide up, isn't it? Hi, baby. Go on. You've just been out. You don't need to go out. You know you don't. You've got breakfast. You've got a drink. You're all set. Good girl. She's confused. She doesn't know what's going on. She can't get to her bed. Okay. So, yeah, just a bit of a coffee chat this morning. I do have a couple of questions. So, Sylvia asked, what planner do you wish you could get? Like one only available in the States or something like that. At the moment, I wish I could get more Happy Planner stuff, but also I really don't want to. I'm kind of glad I can't. The Happy Planner pickings over here are abysmal. Abysmal. There's like 2 shops that do them, plus a couple of places on Amazon. It's really not a lot of choice. Currently, you can't get a Happy Planner 2025 anywhere. You can't get anything. You can't, I can't even get, like, I wanted some of the A5 envelopes. Can't even get those. So pretty much anything you want for the Happy Planner, you have to either make it yourself or know someone in the States who can send it to you, because you can't even, like, I'm not a big Disney fan, but if I did want any of the Disney stuff, I can't have it because they don't ship the Disney stuff to the UK. I can buy off the Happy Planner site in America, but they don't ship it here. So there's a few things in the Happy Planner shop I wish I could get, but I don't really need them. I can MacGyver it myself. I'm just being lazy. But other than that, no, not really. Not really. For me, it's never about the planner itself. It's about how I use it, or the design of it, or, if I couldn't get Happy Planner over here at all, I'm more than capable of buying a ream of B5 paper, cutting it down, sticking it on some rings. We've got an arc system over here that's very similar. So even if I couldn't get or didn't already have the Happy Planner punch, I could still set up an arc system. So still a disc pound system. It still works the same. As long as you've got a printer, you can do pretty much anything you want. I think more if you have specific planners, it tends to be about the paper. And I'm not much of a paper snob. I mean, yeah, I use Moleskines, for heaven's sake. And I like them. So I'm not a paper snob. I'm not one of these people who is like, oh, I must have Hobonichi paper. I must have Tomo River paper. I must have this. I must have that. I'm like, I don't care. As long as I can write on it and use a highlighter on my pen, I'm good. And I don't like bleed through. I mean, obviously, if the paper bleeds through with a normal pen, then that's a no. But I mostly use ballpoints, so I'm not that fussy. So no, there isn't really anything that I wish I could get that's only available, like, in the States or whatever. There's a few things that I've seen that are only available in Japan that I've thought, ooh, if I had access to that, I wouldn't mind one of those. But again, I'm not a big, I must have all the new things. So, no, not really. I had another question over on Discord. Jules was talking about strategies to stay at it in terms of planning and journaling. Keeping going with planning and journaling. Somebody asked about this yesterday as well in terms of planning. Was it you, Ink? I think it might have been. Asking about how to get going again in a planner if you've got stuck, which also applies to journaling and kind of fits in with the whole how to keep going with it. So, let me think. Maddie, what are you barking at? There's this one particular guy who walks past. She does not like him. She does not like him. And he's the only person she ever barks at. Never barks at anybody coming to the door, nothing. But this guy walks past, she's going to bark at him. Okay, so I talked yesterday for planning about one of the things I've added to my system being my little police notebook. This was a Christmas gift, but you can buy them. Whoever it was yesterday said you can get one from Rhodia that's like a little A7 cover that you put the little mini notepads into. It's literally just my ongoing list of, oh, I must remember to do that. I must remember this. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, I'll look at that later. Oh, there's a good quote for my journal. Oh, there's this, there's that. Just observations. If nothing else, it's observations. And as I transfer them into where they need to be, my planner, my journal, whatever, or I just do them, I cross them off. So I've still got stuff that isn't crossed off because it's journaling stuff. I've got a couple of things that need to go in my studio journal. I've got a couple of quotes, a couple of things like if I need to find something, I need to find my jump rings, because my Happy Planner stickers, as everybody said at the beginning, the books of stickers like this, they're not stitch bound, they're glue bound. So once you start using them, they start to fall apart, but they got holes in the top. So what I really need is to find my jump rings so I can put them all together. But I found this little thing is really useful because it's the same size as my phone. So, and I carry my phone everywhere. My phone goes everywhere with me. Always in my hand. Always. My phone is with me. So, having a notebook that's the same size as my phone with a little pen, I found my jotter yesterday and I'm using that, is really making it easy to think, oh, I must remember to. Well, there's no I must remember to anymore. I just open this, I write down what it is I need to remember. And then it's here. And all I have to do is when I go to my planner, I check this. When I go to my journal, I check this. When I open my calendar, I check it because sometimes there's things I need to do. And then once it's put somewhere where it will get done, it gets crossed off in here. So this is what I suppose what people call an everyday carry. I carry this everywhere. This goes everywhere with me. I even put a little grommet in the back so that I can put a hook on it so that I can attach it to, because I've got my phone on a lanyard. So if I went out somewhere, I can attach that. When I take Maddie out for a walk, I can attach it to my lanyard. So I've got this and my phone. And that is making it very easy and accessible. So instead of always, oh, when I'm next at my planner, I must do this, or, oh, I need to write this down, where's a post-it note and a pen? I've got a pen and pencil with me at all times. It's here. I don't need anything else. Yes, I could put it in my phone, but my phone notes are where things go to die. They don't come out of my phone notes. I know this. It doesn't happen, okay? So that's planning, as far as planning goes. And then whenever I sit down at my desk, I check in with my planner. My journaling, I think how to keep at it is something you need to think about. What is the difference between consistent and regular and keeping at it? What do you mean by keeping at it? Are you trying to force yourself to do it every day when you don't really have time? Are you thinking, oh, well, I could do it once a week and catch up, and then you don't because it's too big a task? You know, what is it that's causing a barrier between you and continuing to journal? That's the question you need to ask. For me, it's a time issue, or it has been a time issue, because I'm not prioritizing it. It's not that I don't have time to do it, I'm just not prioritizing it. So I would say if you have a similar issue like that, set aside an hour or 20 minutes in the morning when you're having your coffee. Get a routine going so that, you know, you get into the habit of just opening your journal and just jotting things down or whatever. If you're more of a sketchbooker than a journaler, maybe spend the time drawing and then make your notes, make your written journaling much smaller, just notes of things. If you're more of a written journaler, schedule yourself a time when you're going to sit down with a cup of tea and peace and quiet, maybe some quiet music going or whatever, and just get into your journal. It's one of those things where you've got to just have the willpower to do it. And if you really want to do it, you will. It's as simple as that. If you really want to do it, you will. If you don't, if you find that you're not in that headspace of, I really want to do it, I have to sit down and do this. Hi, baby. Then maybe you're not journaling in the right way for you. Are you forcing yourself to process and write about feelings and what you think journaling is every day rather than just recording your day? Are you forcing yourself to record your day when what you really need to do is process things? Are you writing a journal for the sake of it when what you'd really rather be doing is a daily collage that represents your mood or something like that? You know, there's a lot of different ways to journal, and you have to find the one that fits. The thing that fits for me is doing whatever the hell I feel like, in whatever the hell way I feel like it, whenever I feel like it. That's what works for me. So I have my journal, I have pictures, I have quotes, I have things I've written down in my little notebook here. I have things that I specifically want to record. Sometimes I will just sit and draw something. I will stick things in journal style. I will make a collage page. I will paint things. I do wherever I feel like, whenever I feel like it. And the concept of keeping at it, for me, is consistency, not constantly doing things. I would rather journal once a week and have it fun and interesting and I don't get bored than try to force myself to do it every day. As soon as it becomes a daily thing, it's a chore, and I don't do that. If it's not fun, I'm not going to do it. So it has to be fun. It has to be, I have to have that confidence that I can pick up my book and just do whatever I want to do whenever I want to do it. And that's a very freeing concept. So that's what I would say if you're struggling with sticking at journaling, is try lots of different things and see what works for you. Don't go, oh, I'm not going to do that because I hate collage. When was the last time you did collage? Have you actually tried collage? Are you thinking of collage as being something big and elaborate instead of just cutting out pretty pictures from a magazine and making a mood board? There's a lot of different ways to do things. Are you trying too hard? Are you trying to make your journal into one of these things that might end up in the Smithsonian when really what you just want to do is have something cool that you can flip through in 2 years' time and go, oh yeah, I remember that. Are you trying to record everything you do in a day rather than just taking the snippets that are important? Are you just getting stuck in, I got up, I went to work, I had lunch and a tuna sandwich and I came home and I did this. Anyway, that's boring. Who needs to know about that? Save the packaging, save the label from your tuna sandwich so you can see how much it cost and what was in it. That's interesting. And that says, oh, I had a tuna sandwich today. You don't need to write all about how you sat on a bench and ate a tuna sandwich unless something specific happened on that bench. Take photographs. Save those snippets. You know, the screenshots. Go through your Instagram saved folder All those things that you saved and went, oh, I'm going to save that for later. Yeah, did you ever do anything with it? No. So do something with it. Make a note of it. Maybe it's a recipe that you wanted to try. So write the recipe in your journal. Maybe it's a quote you liked. Write the quote out fancy and stick it in your journal. Make a printer page, on go in Word and stick all your images in there and print them out and cut them out and stick those in and use them as decoration. If you are dyed in the wool written journaler, break up your weeks with a big picture or a big photo, or put some washi tape and some stickers on your page. It doesn't have to be related to what you're doing. Just find a cool picture in a magazine and decorate your page with it, and then write around it. It's not about making sure that it's I'm journaling and I'm taking it seriously. It's about having fun. If you're not having fun, go and get a new hobby, because it's obviously not for you. And even, especially with modern technology, I mean, I've talked about this app before. I've got Day One app, which I found through Danny Gregory, where I record different things on here. So, just articles I had, and I recorded, there's me falling over and all that. It shows me what pictures I took that day. I make a note every day of what I actually did. I make a note of specific things that are going on. Like, I linked the article that tells me all about what's happening with the wildfires, a big cat sighting down in Wiltshire, where my family's from. It shows what artwork I did, because as soon as I've done a piece of artwork, I take a photo of it. So that photo then goes into Day One app, and I know when I did that artwork based on this. So I use technology to my advantage. But you can do videos and all sorts with this and make it completely private. It's just for you. You can have it printed out. If you do pictures and words, like a blog, you can literally have it printed out into a book. There's lots of different ways you can do things. You could even set up a private Instagram if you wanted to, and just save photos so that you've got a running record of things. You could start a YouTube channel and vlog your day. You don't have to share it with anybody but friends. Whatever way it works for you to do things, do it that way, and don't worry about what anybody else is doing. I think that's the big thing, is don't worry about what anybody else is doing. Nobody else is doing it more right than you are. Okay. Nobody else is doing it better than you are, except that if they're doing it better than you are if you're not. Done is better than perfect. Just have at it. Because you'll look at it and go, oh, that's terrible. I didn't do very well with that. That's rubbish. I don't like the way I decorated that. I don't like that picture, blah, 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 blah. But then when you come back to that in a few weeks' time, you'll appreciate what that page has, and you'll go, oh yeah, I remember that. You'll look at that label and think, oh yeah, I remember paying that ridiculous amount for a tuna sandwich because I couldn't get anything anywhere else. Oh, I remember sitting on that bench eating that tuna sandwich, and that duck came and sat next to me on the bench. You'll remember things like that because of the trigger. And maybe your tuna sandwich label is the decoration for a paragraph talking about a duck that came and sat with you on the bench. It's telling stories. It's not, don't think of it as recording life. Think of it as telling stories. If you saw today a friend that you haven't seen for a while, what would you say to them? What would you tell them about? Once you've got all the boring updates out of the way, what would you then update them on? What would you tell them about? What funny photos would you show them? What interesting things that you've read would you share? What book would you recommend to them? That sort of thing. And that's recording life and telling your story, which is what I think. And, you know, I'm not the authority, but that's what I think journaling is about. It's recording your day to day. It's not about what other people are doing. Take inspiration from other people, try things from other people. You know, do a Danny Gregory journal for a week. You know, draw your breakfast, draw your cup of tea, like Liz, what's her name? I think Maddie needs to go out. Do you want to go out, Maddie? Okay, sorry, I'm going to have to let Maddie out. Give me a sec. I will be back. I'm back. Hey Tyler, hey Cody. See messages at the beginning of the stream for why we're doing weird stuff today. What else about keeping going with journaling and things? As well as the way you're journaling, the techniques you're trying, the things you're trying. Obviously, don't box yourself in. Don't go, oh, well, I can't draw, therefore. That's not how it works. See Danny Gregory's entire channel for the last 10 years. You don't have to be able to draw. It's about capturing things. If you want to have a visual record, then have a go. See if it works for you. Oh, I can't write. Really? Yeah, you can. Don't worry about spelling mistakes and all that kind of rubbish. Just write. You know, some people were put off writing because at school they didn't get very good grades for writing essays and stuff. Well, it's not writing an essay, it's telling a story. Go back to the days when you were in primary school, first day back at class. What did I do over the summer? a short story by Susan, age 4. Well, maybe a bit older than that, maybe age 7. You know, think back to the days when things were simple and just keep it that simple. You don't need an entire list in your journal of absolutely everything I did since the time I woke up this morning, because that's what your planner is for. Okay, you've already got that list somewhere. You don't need to write it out again. Tell the story behind what happened, and then you'll get more enjoyment out of it. And as well as not boxing yourself into a particular format, don't box yourself into a particular type of journal either. It's very tempting to buy the latest trend. I must have this particular journal. I must have this paper. Well, if this paper doesn't work for what you want to do, then this paper is not what you need. Okay. If you want to draw and paint, then you want something that can handle wet media. So pick your poison. How much are you prepared to deal with crinkly pages and things, or do you want it to look all pristine and perfect and flat? If you want it to look all pristine and perfect and flat, then you need a watercolor journal. It's that simple. Or you need to not use watercolor. You need to not use wet media. You need to learn to use color pencils or something like that. Or you need to deal with the crinkle. That's what I do. I like the crinkle. That's why I use my moleskins. Don't force yourself to use your Midori's Traveler's Notebook, which is, 4x8 on one side, or if you open a double page, 8x8, if that size doesn't work for you. Okay? If you've got really big writing, Traveler's Notebooks don't work for you unless you use something bigger. Unless you make your own and go to A5 size or A5 slim or something like that, it's not going to work for you. So go to a B5. If you've got really tiny writing and you've got a massive A4 journal, unless you're doing a lot of journaling and sketching, drawing and sketching and sticking things in and stuff like that, and then writing small things in small boxes, if you're expecting yourself to fill an entire A4 page every single day and you've got tiny writing like mine, good luck to you. No wonder you're fed up. Maybe try getting yourself some of those box stickers like we use in the Happy Planner, or print yourself out some, or write on Post-it notes. You can write on Post-it notes and put 3 or 4 Post-it notes together and stick them in, and then decorate the rest of the page, or draw on the rest of the page, or have a Post-it note for each day and stick those in. You don't have to do an entire A4 page or an entire A5 double spread every single day. Sometimes you need 5 or 6 pages. Sometimes one line is enough. Sometimes just sticking in one picture is enough. So don't box yourself in and say, I have to. As soon as you start saying I have to or I should, step away. Because you don't. You absolutely don't. You don't have to do it every day. You don't have to do it consistently. You don't have to do it in the same way every single time. You don't have to have pretty writing. You don't have to have make your pages aesthetically pleasing. A simple trick, and this comes from Cody, Paper Story Journals down there. Go follow her on Instagram. She just has a plain notebook that she uses. She uses various different formats for a week of journaling. So she's got daily things that she writes in, which is kind of like a one thing a day. She's got a page that she uses for like world news or political news or whatever it is she's interested in that week. And then she's got a page where she just draws over it, but she colours it with watercolour. She colours the background with watercolour and makes it look pretty before she does anything on it. And it just makes it look visually pleasing. Does it look all fancy and ooh, get you with your fancy pages? Yes, it does. Is it something absolutely anybody can do? Yes, it is. You just have to have paper that will handle watercolour. If you're okay with a Hobonichi style watercolour and it getting all crinkly, then you know, Hobonichi or a moleskin or something like that will work just fine. If you want something a bit more sturdy, go for something like a Leuchtturm or a Stalogy. You can do it. You can do it. You just, if you want to do it, you'll prioritize it. And if you don't prioritize it, you don't want to do it enough. The other thing I would say is don't be lazy. And it's hard sometimes to figure out, especially if you've got ADHD, am I struggling with my executive dysfunction, or am I just being lazy? If you are sitting there on the sofa watching telly thinking, you know, I'd really like to be journaling right now, but I can't be bothered to get up and go and get my journal, then that's lazy. If you are constantly thinking in your head that you want to do it, and you're trying to convince yourself to go and get your journal, and you actually are trying to do that and going through that, then that's your executive dysfunction. So your answer is, have your journal with you. Have your journal and your planner in a little tote bag that you carry around with you, so that it's not over on your desk where you can't get to it. It's sat next to you on the sofa. That's what I've got. I've got rather more than most people, but look, I've got my planners, I've got my journals, I usually put my iPad in here, I've got my sketchbook, I've got a bag of ephemera, I've even got my TV remote, because it's the only place I can put my TV remote that I don't lose it. I haven't got a load of supplies or anything. I've got one pencil case, that's it. And I can manage with one pen if I have to, and I can decorate later. But, you know, if that not having your journal with you is what's causing the barrier, make a note of when you feel like, oh, I really could do with, if I had my journal with me right now, I'd do something in it. When is that? What, you're sat at work having your lunch, nobody else is about, and you're thinking, you know, if I had my journal with me right now, I'd do some journaling. If I had my sketchbook with me right now, I'd do some sketching. If I had my Filofax with me right now, I'd do some stuff in my Filofax or my yearly goals. You know, whatever it is you think that you would do, then make sure that you have that thing with you. And, you know, you can't always have things around at work and stuff like that. I appreciate that. But if that's the case, you know, I used to keep my sketchbook in the car at work, and then I'd go and have lunch in my car, and I'd sit and sketch during lunch. There are ways around it. You don't have to, I mean, get used to doing stuff in public. Nobody cares, okay? Get over the whole, oh, I can't go and journal in a coffee shop. I can't draw in public. I can't do this. Nobody cares, okay? The worst that can happen, you'll get a couple of people stop by and go, oh, that's nice. You'll get a few kids will come up and start bothering you. Kids are great, because they're always like, oh yeah, I draw. I can draw too. That's really good. I like that. Do you draw a lot? Are you an artist? You know, they just pepper you with questions. You won't get people coming up to you and going, well, that's crap. What are you doing that for? What are you doing that for in public? Why are you sitting there drawing? Why are you sitting there writing? What are you writing? Tell me what you're writing. Show me what you're writing. Let me read it. People don't do that. People don't care. If you are in any doubt, next time you go out and you're in a coffee shop or whatever, when you leave the coffee shop, try and remember what the person on the next table was doing. Try and remember what the person on the table beyond that was doing. Try and remember what the people on the other tables were doing. You won't. You might remember, oh, there was a guy reading a newspaper, and there was some teenage girl writing on a notepad. Maybe she was doing some homework or something. I don't know. And that's the key. Maybe she was doing some homework or something. I don't know. No, you don't know. And nobody's going to take enough notice of you to actually care what you're doing when you're sitting in the coffee shop with your journal doing stuff. Because you don't have to have your entire desk set up and your entire rig and all your fancy pens and everything else set out on the table in front of you like you're at home at your work desk. All you really need is a pair of scissors, a glue stick, a magazine, and a pen. Maybe a pencil. Maybe some watercolours if you want to draw. You know, You don't have to have anything more than your journal and a ballpoint pen. Believe it or not, you can just journal with that. You could lay out a page in pencil. So you could draw lines and say, oh, I want to put some washi tape here. I want to put a photo here. This could be, I'll keep this area free. I want to put some stickers over here. I'm going to write on this bit. So, draw yourself in a writing block. Lay out your page. Think about what you're going to do. Pencil in what you're going to write. Or write in what you're going to write and decorate it when you get home. There's lots of things you can do that it feels like you're being very exposed and vulnerable in public, but nobody knows what you're doing. And very few people care. Very few people actually care. They're far too wrapped up in what they're doing and worrying about, if I sit in this coffee shop and read a book, is everybody going to judge me because I'm reading young adult fiction and I'm like 50? Because you're not looking at what everybody else is doing. You're not sitting there looking at somebody else writing in their notebook and thinking, I wonder what they're doing. I wish I could go over and have a look. You're worrying about whether they're looking at what you're doing. And they're doing the same. They don't care what you're doing. They're just worried about whether other people are looking at what they're doing. Just have at it. Have at it. Just do it. Just do it. It's a little bit more tricky if you've got like ADHD or something that you have to actually get over your executive dysfunction first. But in that case, again, make it as easy as possible. Remove the barriers. What are the barriers? I just want to be able to pull things out and stick them in my journal without any hassle. Okay, so make it sticking in things as easy as possible. Don't use wet glue. Don't use tape that's going to run out or whatever. Just use a repositionable glue. Just use one of those tape rollers. Get a cheap tape roller in the stationery shop or a glue stick and stick things in. I don't want to have to cut images out and then journal about them. I wish I just had stuff ready available. Okay, so go through your magazines. Set aside an hour on a Sunday to go through your magazines and your newspapers and print out photos and things like that so that you've got all that stuff in a little baggie. Ready to go. At any given point, I can pick up a load of stuff out of this and stick it in my journal. It's all stuff that I've saved to keep put in my journal. I just haven't got around to it yet. So, another thing, Bun does this. If you go and watch her junk journaling videos, she does this. She puts packs together of different layouts or pages that she wants to do. So, like, say she's done a day trip to Disney. She'll have the photos, the ephemera that she wants to use, anything else, and she'll put it all together and she'll stick a post-it note on top of it saying what it is with the date and everything else and what it is and what she wants to do, and that's that junk journal pile. So at any given moment, if she wanted to do some junk journaling, she can shove that in her junk journal, grab her glue or whatever else she needs, a couple of pens, sit on the sofa and go and do whatever she wants to do with it. Remove barriers. That's the key, I think, to consistency. Remove barriers. Don't tell yourself you can't. If you're being lazy, snap out of it. If prioritizing is a struggle or finding time is a struggle, then plan it into your week. Set aside a time to do it. Make things as easy as possible. And note when those periods are where you're thinking, I really wish I had this with me. I really wish I had that with me. Make a note of that and then make that happen. You can do things like taking scraps of paper with you. Take decorative notepads or pages with you to work in your bag and write on those. Write your journaling on those. And then when you get home, stick them in your journal. Decorate them. Use them as collage. Put them in your junk journal. Whatever it is you want to do with them. Sew them together. If you want to make a quill. I don't care. Just whatever your excuses are that you're making. If you want to do it and you have that itch to do it, then do it. Remove the barriers that say, oh, but I can't. Oh, but I shouldn't. Oh, but this. Oh, but that. There you go. That's my... Just do it. Just get on with it. Have I done anything in my journal since the winter solstice? No. Do I have stuff that is put aside to go in my journal? Yes. So at some point, do I have no reason whatsoever that I can't just grab my journal, grab my pack of stuff and a glue stick and sit down and get on with it? No, I don't. So when that urge hits, or when I have time to do that, or when I've prioritized it and said, right, on this day for 2 hours, I'm going to sit down with my journal, I'm going to get some of this stuff done, then it will get done. I'm not sitting here beating myself up because, oh, I haven't written in it since the middle of December and it's now nearly the middle of January. So it'll get done. It's not like scrapbooking. Well, it is like scrapbooking. It's like I back in the day, many moons ago, I was part of a scrapbooking forum and stuff, and the amount of people who were so caught up in, oh, I really want to scrapbook my weekend trip, but I can't because and usually the I can't because was something to do with, I have 3 years worth of other stuff to do. I haven't journaled Christmas yet. I haven't journaled this. I haven't done this. I haven't printed out the photos for somebody's birthday that was 3 months ago. So? Who says you have to scrapbook in chronological order? Who says? Put a date on it, okay? Stick it in the right order later. You can do the same with your journal. Journal about what you want to journal about now and worry about the rest of it later. It doesn't really matter. If it mattered to you that much, that birthday 3 weeks ago, that birthday party 3 weeks ago, absolutely has to be exactly 1 week before, exactly 3 weeks before this, and it must be in chronological order, even though you want to journal this now, you have to do that first, then you would have done that first already. Maybe you don't actually want to journal about that birthday party. Maybe it's not that important. Maybe what you really want to do is print out the photos, stick them in and say, so-and-so's birthday, date, sticker, done. Are you making it too complicated? Are you overthinking it? Overthinking is a big thing with journalers. If you overthink your journaling, that's a good sign that you probably need to write more. You're all very quiet in chat. Why are you all so quiet in chat? Oh, you're not quiet in chat. It just hasn't scrolled down. Sorry. Hi, Becky. For me, moleskin large cahier, not too big, not swathes of pages. Also, oh, bloody hell, I've got an advert. Because I'm watching it on stream. Oh, there we go. Not swathes of pages, 3 books for £8, great value. Yes, I used to use the moleskin large cahiers. I put them in a moleskin size traveller's notebook thing. That's what I used to use. I'm currently using a B5. I've graduated to a B5 because I like the size. Everything I'm using this year is this size, including one of my sketchbooks. I've got a bigger sketchbook and a smaller sketchbook, but everything I'm using this year is this size. Because I don't feel like I have to fill an entire page for one day. I'm quite happy just sticking a post-it note and writing on it. But I've got a nice big space if I want to draw, or if I do want to do something fancy, or if I want to put a big picture in or whatever. I've got the space to do it. I'm comfortable in that size. At the other end of the scale, I have a locked notebook in GoodNotes where I can type in a bunch of stream of consciousness whenever I want. Yeah. Security. If security is important to you, you know, that's something that often comes up. Oh, I don't have any problem keeping a written journal or keeping a journal, but I don't want other people to see it. I don't want my kids to be able to get hold of it, etc., etc. Well, then find somewhere to lock it up. You managed to hide the Christmas presents. I'm sure you can manage to find a way to hide away your book. It's not that hard. Write it on pieces of paper if you like to write longhand. Take a photo of it, destroy the paper, and file the paper away in a secure, passworded thing on your phone. Have a locked notebook in GoodNotes or Google Drive or something like that. You know, iCloud, whatever. Get a online journaling app. Password it. Password protect it. Use OneNote, and put all your passwords and stuff in for that. It's not hard to do, really. It's really not. No obligation to do it every day, and you don't think about it whenever you're wasting. Don't have to think about whether you're wasting supplies. Oh, wasting supplies. That's one that annoys me. That is a self-sabotaging term. Yes, it is, Tyler. Wasting. What? You mean you're not good enough to use these supplies? Is that what you mean? Bollocks to that, I say. Yeah, you are. If you're a journaler, you're using journaling supplies. What's wrong with that? Hi, Andrea. I won't get into the art side of it, but certainly with the journaling side of it, oh, I can't buy a nice notebook like I imagine all journalers have, and beautiful leather-bound thing, because I don't want to waste it. My writing is ugly, and I don't write things of any worth in it, and da-da-da. That's a self-sabotaging what's it called? Self-worth issue. Okay? I can't help you with that. That's you needing to do some inner healing and shadow work. You don't feel worthy of using a nice journal because your writing isn't any good. Well, then either change the journal or change your writing. Practice your writing. Get a writing book and practice your calligraphy. Practice handwriting. Get a nice pen. Treat yourself to a nice pen and learn to write with a fountain pen. Learn to write cursive. Learn to print. Change your handwriting. Practice your handwriting and write slowly so that you write neatly. Type it. Type it on a computer. Pick a pretty font. Print it out. Stick it in your journal. Use cheap moleskin notebooks that don't feel intimidating. You know, save your big fancy journal for important things like big birthdays and weddings and trips and stuff like that, you know, and think about what you're going to put in it and write neatly and do all that stuff. But on a day-to-day basis, just grab a bloody notebook and have at it, for goodness sake. When you look at other people's pages, is the first thing you think, oh, look at that journaling page, that's cool? Or is it, oh, look, she made like 3 spelling mistakes on that page. Oh, that sticker isn't straight. Oh, that's such a nice looking page, but her handwriting's awful. Is that what you do? If it is, get out. You're in the wrong place. Get out. You don't. I can tell you don't. Any more than people look at stuff that people have drawn and art stuff. You don't, unless you're a complete arsehole, you don't sit there and go, well, that's a bit naff, isn't it? Is that the best you could do? Really? You're posting that online? You're not embarrassed to post that? Would you say that to somebody? No. So why are you expecting to get it yourself? Are you thinking, oh, well, I need to share it online then? If people are, if I'm doing this, I should post it online and it's not worthy of being shared. Well, don't share it. Nobody said you had to share it. You don't have to put it on Instagram. You're doing it for you. If you're not doing it for you, who are you doing it for? Never wasting supplies. No. Wasting supplies, I'll tell you what wasting supplies is. Wasting supplies is having notebooks that sit on your shelf for so long that the pages start to yellow. Is putting stickers in a drawer and not using them to the point where when you actually come to use them, they don't stick anymore because the glue doesn't last more than a couple of years. Putting photos in a drawer where they get bunched up and caught up on things, and then they end up getting destroyed and creased and whatever and scratched, and you end up and stuck together, and then you just like, you pick up the whole mess and go, well, that was pointless, and you put it in the bin. Yeah? Why? Why would you do that? Have a little bit of organisation. Don't go crazy with it all, but, you know, have a little carry pot or a little Tupperware thing that you put all your photos and journaling and stuff that you want to do, or things that you want to make a note of, or things that you want to save in your journal, and put it in a little bag. Use your supplies. Yes, use your supplies, because guess what? Paints go off. My mum held on to this beautiful set of acrylic paints that she was bought as a gift for, I think, her 40th birthday. I think my dad gave them to her for her 40th birthday. Beautiful set of acrylic paints and brushes. She never used them. Never. Eventually, not so long ago, and the reason she never used them was because she didn't feel she knew enough about acrylics to be able to use them. She wasn't willing to waste them by playing with them. So she never used them. So she gave them to me. And guess what? When I opened them, because I was like, oh, new paints! Must open right now! Because that's how I am. I'm not like my mother. I don't put things aside because they're precious. I'm like, oh, new things to play with. Gimme, gimme. I opened them, and guess what? They were all dried out and they all went in the bin. Complete waste of money. Completely pointless. No use to anybody. The brushes, because of the way it had been stored, the brushes had actually jammed up against the box. And from years and years and years and years and years of being left like that, they were that shape. You couldn't use them. They were right angled in the middle of the brush. There was nothing you could do to fix them. So they went in the bin as well. Wasting supplies is not using them. Stickers are for sticking, not for hoarding. Sorry, I'm distracted by my hair because it's such a mess today. I haven't done with anything with it. It needs a trim, but I can't be bothered because I'm growing it out. Yeah, stickers are for sticking, not for hoarding. Notebooks are for putting things in. Note things in your notebooks. Don't hoard your fancy notebooks because whatever you're going to put them in is somehow not worthy. You make the journal worthy by filling it. When you've filled that journal, trust me, no matter, even if all you've written in it is what you ate every day, okay? All you wrote every day in that big fancy journal that cost an absolute fortune, it's beautiful paper, it's very, very fancy. All you did every day was write in it what you ate, okay? Trust me, by the time you finish that journal will be gold, because it'll be something to treasure. It will be something complete, as a complete package. It's not a fancy notebook that's sitting there staring at you going, ooh, look at me, I'm too fancy for you. It's a beautiful bound record of everything you ate for the last 3 years. Wow, what an achievement. And I guarantee you, if you did share that online and said, look, this is my journal that I've been keeping for 3 years, and it's got everything I've eaten for the last 3 years in it. And you'd put in, a couple of wrappers or a couple of receipts, grocery receipts, to keep a track of what was done and everything. Yeah, if you posted that online right now, you'd get a few journal enthusiasts going, oh, wow, that's really cool. Do that same thing in 10 years and say, this is, even now, right, 2025, pull out a journal that says, this is one I kept during the plague, where I literally wrote down all the stats for the plague for the day. I wrote down what I ate. I wrote down we tried to do one new thing every day to stop the boredom. So I wrote down the one new thing we did every day. 5 years later, that's a treasure. Even if it's written on a reporter's notebook. So, time and perspective is important as well. Hi, Dawn. Let me see if I've got any more questions. I don't know if anybody's added any more questions yet, but let me... Anybody got any questions? Journaling and planning questions. I will wax lyrical and tell you what I think, because I'm not afraid to tell you what I think. Am I always right? No. Do I have a lot to say on things? Yes. Because I do it, and if you want to do it, you can. There's nothing stopping you except you. No, I don't have any more questions on anywhere, I don't think. Oh, I might have one on. No, I don't have any more questions anywhere. So any questions from chat? Any questions from chat? Doesn't look like it. So maybe we'll end it there for today, given that I am a bit in the wars, and we've not really got a proper setup going and everything. Oh, Melody, hi. Nobody is going to look back on their life later and say, I'm sure I'm glad I didn't use any of those journals. Yes, exactly. Exactly. You're not gonna find that journal at the back of a closet and think, oh, damn, I wish I hadn't bothered writing in this. It's too nice to have ever used. I should have just kept it blank. No! Have at it. Use the pretty journals. And if your journal is too intimidating, then do something else. Start with something else. Start smaller. Maybe you're starting out and you've got a big fancy journal and you're thinking, oh, well, somebody bought me a journal, so I should keep a journal. Well, okay, start small. Buy one of those crappy Cartier notebooks and experiment in it and see what works for you and try it out or try different things until you find your groove, and then move into the fancy journal that somebody gave you for Christmas. Write on nice pieces of paper or draw on separate pieces of paper and then put those into your journal, or copy them into your journal after you've written them out in pencil. Whatever it is you need to do to get over the fact that that journal is so pretty that you're intimidated by it. Why is it intimidating? Why is it intimidating? Why do you think that you are not worth putting your thoughts down in a pretty notebook? Why? Because even if everybody around you, let's say you are one of those people that everybody around you just thinks you're a waste of space, okay? So therefore you think you're a waste of space and nothing you do is of any importance whatsoever. You've got the lowest self-esteem. Your thoughts are not worthwhile. So why are you even writing them down, okay? And there are people like that out there, I know. Instead of trying to fix that, because that's a lifelong thing, first off, go get some therapy. And the first thing they'll say is keep a journal. But also, nobody has to know that you're doing it. Nobody has to know that on Sunday afternoons, even though you're not particularly, you don't think you're pretty, or you don't wear makeup all the time because you don't think it suits you or whatever. Nobody knows that you spend an hour every Sunday playing around with makeup and doing fancy makeup tutorials from YouTube. Why do they need to know? Why does anybody need to know that you completely worthless waste of space, have a completely ridiculous fancy journal at home that is absolutely not worthy of you, that you write in every day? How dare you? Excuse me? If somebody said that to your face, I mean, you'd have to have literally no self-esteem whatsoever to not feel a little bit like, who are you to tell me what I can do and what I can't do? How dare you? You know, you'd have to be really, 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 really down on yourself to go, yeah, you're right, I should just burn it. I need everybody to have as much self-confidence as I do. Okay? Just have at it. Thank you so much for coming on live in spite of your fall yesterday. Lovely to see you. Oh, thanks. It's worse than it looks. It looks worse than it is. Look, it's just... I didn't even... Like, this doesn't even hurt. It's just really swollen and bruised. But all it is a little gouge there. It's not even a cut. It didn't bleed for more than 5 minutes. Obviously, it bled like a stuck pig. Because it's your head, and that happens. But that's all it is, and it's like a gouge where it caught in something. I didn't even have a concussion, you know. My arm's a mess, but again, it doesn't hurt. It just looks bad because I bruise easily. I'm fair skin and red head. I bruise easily. Okay. I can look at a wall and bruise from it. But no, I'm fine. I just the big problem is I can't get to my desk. That's why we're not continuing as normal. If I could get to my desk, or I am concerned that I could still develop a concussion, obviously. So I'm taking it easy today. Otherwise, I would already be tidying up that corner and getting back to it. As I feel fine, but common sense says you've got a head injury, even if it's very minor, you can still have concussion. So what have you missed? Oh, Maria, I fell. You know let me show you. You know the backdrop of my videos? My white cabinet and all of my cubes and everything. Well, if you stand to the side of that and look at where my chair is, that's what it currently looks like, because everything fell off as I knocked into it. I reached out with my hand, because I'm a lefty, I reached out with my hand to steady myself. All I did was that stupid thing where you catch your foot on the stair and you slide off the edge of the stair. That's all I did. And I put my hand out, but somehow I knocked the cabinet before I caught it with my hand. Usually, I mean, I do it all the time, and usually I catch it with my hand and I'm fine. I just, like, whoops, that was a close one, and off we go. But I think I caught it with my hip. I fell sideways with my hip and I knocked the cabinet. So by the time I put my hand out, the corner that I normally put my hand on wasn't there anymore. It had moved. And that's how I ended up with this, because I think I literally went down the corner and then I hit it the side of my head. But I just caught it. It wasn't a major thing. The worst part was landing on my knee. My knee hurts like a bee. You would not believe how much my knee hurts right now. I'm sat here kind of moving it all the time, because keeping it in one place all the time is just making it stiffen up. But it's just swollen. It just needs ice packs and heat. I'm tougher than I look. Trust me. You silly Minnie. Yeah, you sound like my dad, Jane. If I told my dad, hey, guess what? I fell over and I've given myself a black eye and a bruise on my arm, he'll go, well, that was stupid. What did you do that for? As the concussion queen, yes, you can develop symptoms later. Yes, I'm aware of that. I'm aware of that. That's why I'm taking it easy today. I feel absolutely fine. I could have at it and get that sorted out. And by the time we go live on Patreon later, everything will be sorted. But I don't want to be bending down and standing up and bending down and standing up, picking things up, when I could potentially have a concussion. Because that'll just make it worse. And the last thing I need to do is pass out or faint or something and end up on the floor again. Also, if you'd been doing an art stream instead of Motivation Monday, then it would have been a crafter lunch. It would have literally been a crafter lunch. Yeah. Row. It's a good job it wasn't a YouTube stream, because I don't turn the sound off for my YouTube. I have the music going, but I don't turn the sound off. So on stream you would have heard, ah, fuck, crash. Ow. Maddie, get off my head. Because of course Mum being on the floor means, oh, this is time to play. I'm going to jump on top of you. The hardest part was getting Maddie off me so I could get up. But yeah, it was lucky it was Motivation Monday because I had my sound and everything off. But then nobody noticed. Everybody was just like, you kind of saw everybody look and they were like, something's odd there. And eventually I messaged Mika to let her know. I managed to get to my phone, which is over on my desk, and let her know what was going on. And then everybody was like, oh, well, we wondered what was happening. I saw everything had changed. I was like, when did she take all that down? Like, no, literally the whole thing fell over on video. And then the video would have been demonetized for all the F-bombs. Well, I think I get that anyway. I've got a hair on my nose and it's tickling. Where is it? Is it on my glasses? Where is it? It's on somewhere. Okay, there we go. I think I've got it. I don't usually get demonetized for F-bombs. As long as you're so far in a certain amount of minutes into a stream, it doesn't tend to matter. But anyway. Yeah, so if we've got no other questions, I'm going to stop there and go and just end the stream early, have a bit of a break. Maybe do some journaling. Who knows? If you're in Patreon, we're doing Card of the Year journaling today. I need to update the links with some printables that I've done for you. I don't think I'll be able to sort out my top-down camera. Well, I can. Even if I could get to my desk, I can't use my chair because it's covered in glass. I've got to get the Hoover out and hoover it. Past cat Loki. Whenever she fell, she reached chaos. Yeah, I don't just fall. I have to completely knock over an entire shelf unit. Yeah. But at least I didn't destroy myself this time. The last time I had a bad fall was, like I say, 3 days into the plague lockdown, and you couldn't get an ambulance or anything, so there's no point in even calling anyone. I tore my ACL in my knee, and it was 2 years before I could get to see a physiotherapist. It was mad. But no, I'm fine. My wrist hurts. My wrist really hurts. But I can move it and everything, so I don't think I've sprained it or anything. It doesn't even feel sprained. It feels like a compact injury, where you jolt it, which would make sense because I landed on that wrist, so I'll live. But yeah, Patreon, we won't have fancy cameras, it'll just be this today, so I've got to try and set up in such a way that I can actually do some journaling myself, which is going to be tricky. I don't know how I'm going to manage that because I don't actually have enough room on my table here with my laptop on it, so I don't know, we'll figure something out. Okay, well, thanks for joining me, guys, and hopefully we'll be restored to normal practice soon, but it may not be tomorrow. It may not be today, it won't be today, it may not be tomorrow, but soon. Soon, I promise. Oh, sorry, I keep itching because this is all swollen and it's making the nerve endings tingle, so everything itches. Pillow on the lap with an easel. No, I've got boobs, Tyler. You can't do things on the lap if you've got boobs. I have a little table here. It's like a little 60 by 40 table, like a little dinner table. But once I've got my laptop on it, I've got no other space for anything else. So maybe I just need to move my laptop onto a side thing somewhere. I'll figure it out. Anyway, thanks for joining me, guys, and I will see you again very soon. and hopefully we'll be back to normal sooner rather than later. Bye.